very excited about the opportunity to talk with you. I was thinking back. I was inspired by two things. One is a quote from Andrea Goulet, and Andrea says you have to focus on technical wealth. So that was my first. My second inspiration was a Harvard Business Review article that came out late last year, and it's why do companies not succeed as they're trying to go to exploitation, right? What are the things that are holding back organizations? So they did a study because only 22% of companies actually go from exploration when they're focused on product, right, product fit, to exploitation, which is where growth slows down and you optimize your business processes. So the authors of this article said there's really a middle stage, and it's an extremely hard middle stage. And they call it extrapolation. And here, organizations need to be ambidextrous. You need to be able to focus on growth, and you need to be able to focus on profitability. So the theory is that at this point, organizations need to look inside. You have to look at where are there cracks in your foundation that are going to inhibit either growth or inhibit profitability. And I believe that our solution, SAP, is perfect for that middle stage where it's global by design, end-to-end business process, infused with business AI. Now, I can't quite see you because of the lights out there, but I bet you're thinking, no way, right? SAP is for the giants. It's for the Coca-Colas. It's for the General Motors, the ExxonMobil in there. But we are equally focused on high growth. So let me give you one example, Moderna. So Moderna's been partnering with us for a very long time. And they had the foundation. So when something none of us expected to happen, COVID, they had the foundation to be able to grow and meet the demands of the marketplace. They had the technical wealth. So one of the premises within the article is you have to take this hard look inside and say, where might there be cracks in your foundation? So let me pose 4 questions. Do your business processes have what it takes for you to grow globally? Right? Can you, second question, can you grow at scale? Do you have the ability to monetize in new ways? Number 3, we know that you're all excellent at the product portion of it, but do you have business AI to help, which is also very critical, drive decisions down to the lowest levels within an organization? And number 4, how confident are you in your reporting? Both from, are you audit ready? So we believe that we can help if there's any cracks in the foundation, if there's cracks in your technical wealth, in these 4 areas. The first, expand globally. So we were global by design. We were born in Europe. And what we do is take the worry away from the compliance, the regulatory, the data privacy issues that you may face as you're expanding in a global manner. Okay? Number 2, grow market share at scale. So that has many different possibilities. One, I talked about monetizing. Can you do any kind of model? And we have capabilities that support any type of model that you may have, whether it's product, service, hybrid, products as a service, outcome-based, which allows you to just grow in different ways. The other piece is that we provide end-to-end business processes. So way back when SAP started, the thought process was, oh, I'll buy accounts payable from one vendor and purchasing from another. So SAP was the first to say, you know what, let's go end to end. Let's go record to report. Let's go hire to retire in there. And the reason that that is important is that every time you break, you have to worry about data reconciliation, replication in there, and what that turns out to be is dollar signs in there. Number 3, we are passionate about AI, and we're passionate about infusing it into the product, not because we want to be the cool kids, but every time there has been a change in technology, SAP has embraced that in order to drive business outcome. So what's business outcome in our mind? How do you increase revenue? How do you increase productivity? How do you drive better asset utilization? And how do you support your strategy in there? And when we think about AI, it's not just generative AI, that's a part of it, but it's also how real-time analytics, driving decision-making down to the lowest level in your organization. Number 2 is shifting tedious tasks from people to the machine. Number 3, predictive capabilities, the ability for you to peek around the corner and act before you have to react in there. And then generative AI. Now, generative AI is really, we take a very special view of generative AI because you cannot allow hallucinations in your business, like that in your business processes. That just simply will not work. So what we want to do is make sure we're applying that where it makes sense. So one of the thoughts in the Harvard Business Review article is that in this middle period, it is also really important to attract new talent and perhaps reallocate talent in there. So one example of generative AI that's embedded in is the ability to automatically create appropriate non-biased job descriptions and the related interview questions to help you get the right new talent to your organization. So let me spend just a minute and walk through AI. So you may not know, we have infused AI into our business processes since 2016. And we do it in 3 big categories. The first is alert. The system taps you on the shoulder. Meredith is out here, my friend Meredith is out there. So let's say Meredith was responsible for a purchasing contract that was quantity and time bound. Well, what if there's a lot of time left on your purchasing contract, but not a lot of quantity? Wouldn't it be nice if the system tapped Meredith on the shoulder and said, Meredith, it's time for you to renegotiate this contract now. We are in a position of strength instead of later on where you're scrambling because you need to have this particular raw material, for example. Or another example could be, this may not be fraud, but it kind of smells like fraud. You should take a look and make sure that you're not at risk there. So that's alert. Act is moving tedious tasks from people to the machine. So the very first machine learning application that was provided was a request of our customers, and it's around indirect expense. Do you know what the number 1 category of indirect expense is? Other. And it's really hard to manage others. Someone has to reclassify it. So why not have the system reclassify it so people can focus on how do you manage that expense? And number 3 is assist. It's it's a combination of predictive capabilities. How likely is it that a quotation will turn into an order? The ability to peek around the corner and act before you have to react in there. Plus, we also provide, I talked about the example of generative AI, But we also have a very cool feature called Just Ask. And Just Ask is a natural language interaction. So one example of Just Ask is if I'm new, if you're hiring new or people into your organization and they don't know how to do something, they can just ask in natural language, how? How do you do that? And the system will guide. And I'm going to run a very short video because I want to show you Just Ask from an analytics perspective.
We're thrilled to share this preview of Just Ask, SAP Analytics Cloud new natural language query feature and the first to leverage generative AI. Just Ask empowers business users to get answers on their own without depending on analysts or on IT. If we ask total revenue, we get the answer immediately. We can refine our question by adding year to date. Just Ask adds time to the answer and restricts the result to the current year. If we ask for revenue by region and brand, the answer comes in a table and in a chart that we can use to understand the data. For instance, to see the difference between two data points or to drill in a particular region. We can ask for revenue and profit in EMEA by product. Just Ask always looks for the visualization that best answers the question. In this case, a scatter plot that shows how revenue relates to profit. With Just Ask, users can leverage the breadth of SAP Analytics Cloud data models, in particular plan data. Here, we compare actuals to forecasted profit over time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Okay, now that example of just asking in natural language, how powerful is that when you're in that in-between stage, when you have to worry about both growth and profitability? It's nice to just ask the system how you're doing, or perhaps you've acquired an organization, a company. How well is that company adding to your either top line growth or bottom line profitability? Well, I spoke about Andrew Goulet and I spoke about the view from Harvard Business Review, and I shared with you SAP's view on how to help. I invite you to take out your iPhones, cell phones, scan the QR code. This is an analyst view of how SAP adds value to scale-ups. So beginning of my presentation, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of it, but there you scan and download. And since we use Underdog to Top Dog in here, let's remember let's think about the value by using the letters in dog. D, better data, better use of data is what the analysts say. O, operational efficiency, and G, better support for growth. So I invite you to explore and see what the analysts say. Okay, so we believe that SAP should lean in and provide a complete package for you of software, services, and support. What we do, it's a pure native SaaS model that will be live in 4 to 6 weeks with up to 6 months free. So think about that. You're live months before there's a payment due and associated with it. So we want to lean in here. We think we're excited about the possibilities that all of you provide. The other piece that makes us unique is we give you access to what we refer to as the hyper-growth hub. That gives you access to our entire SAP community and our ecosystem in here. Okay. Another opportunity to take your cell phone out. If you would like to test drive the solution, we invite you to spend 3 hours with us and compete for profitability with any number of other companies. So it's hands-on keyboard and experience. Do real-time analytics make a difference in your organization? How does AI help? Does it make me more profitable in here? So we run the session every other week. We would love for you to join in. And last, but certainly not least, I just want to wrap up and say we are very passionate about providing support for not just today, but for tomorrow. If you think back about Moderna, they were ready for tomorrow before tomorrow came, and they were able to actually build and grow and supply the vaccine. So what we want to do is partner with you to build that technical wealth, to be able to fix any cracks in your foundation, and just really enjoy your growth. I want to thank you all for your time and attention. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best.